If you're on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe. If you're on iTunes, please leave a rating and review. Also, visit us on the sportscast.net for all the up to date sports news. And if you have an iPhone, download our new app. This episode is brought to you by Zach White, Realtor, LAH Homewood in Birmingham, Alabama. Many of you know Zach as someone who's actively been helping kids learn sports and life lessons through Soccer Shots, Wish to Enrich, and Iron Kids Ministries. Well, now Zach has a new way to serve others through LAH Real Estate. If you or someone you know is looking for a home or needing to sell, call Zach at 205 381 7050. I'm your host, over the hill powerlifter and 2003 Alabama grad, Justin Riley. With me, as always, is an Alabama legend, all SEC linebacker, two-time author, and when Ric Flair said to be the man, you got to beat the man, he is that man, Marvin Constant.
Yo, 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 what it do? Hey, it's a pleasure to be here with you as always. I'm experimenting with this new virtual background. I'm trying to.
I am too. Hey, but it doesn't stop here. Guys, we've got a third member of our team. He's appeared on BET's Comic View, the Bad Boys of Comedy. He's the pride of Stillman and the distinguished member of Omega Sci-Fi comedy legend, Steve Brown.
Sexual chocolate.
Got a dramatic pause from Steve Brown. I just gave him a great intro, man. Do I need to do it all over again?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't pay his internet bill.
Yeah, it happened again, didn't it? Wait a minute.
Steve, you need me to pick that bill up for you?
Do I need to Venmo some money over there, Steve?
Let me leave him alone before he get on me.
Oh, he's about to get on all of us, I bet. Okay, while we wait for his technical difficulties to sort themselves out, last week we had some pretty amazing guests. This week it continues to get better. One of the things about Alabama is we've always had a strong offensive line. Tonight we're going to focus on the men up front. Can you please introduce our guests?
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know where to begin with this list of guests. You know, you got my good friend, all SEC champion, Mr. Griff Redmill, paved the way for Sean Alexander. Boom, what more could you ask for? You know, then we have the Britt brothers, Wesley, Justin, and Taylor, the whole Britt family, every last one of them. Well, I don't think the sisters, they got any play football, but just the Britt brothers.
That's right.
I'm sure
Hey, you don't want to see our sisters on the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Britt brothers, man. When I say Alabama legacy, you know, it's not that often that you see brothers that actually play for Alabama. So to have all three of them on with us, welcome, gentlemen. Welcome.
Marvin, Justin, thank you so much for having us, boy. I'm pumped about this, and man, Marvin, just to be here with you. Shoot, the brand of football that you play, that smash mouth brand, that's one of the reasons I went to Alabama. I wanted to play that kind. I didn't ever like meeting you in practice, but I like that kind of football.
Hey, that kind of football is outlawed today.
Yeah. I think he would have been ousted from the NFL a long time ago with this brand of football, but that's what we like.
Yeah, I'd have been kicked out of many a games and fined many a times. Yeah, you got to go.
Steve,
yes,
What's up, man?
There he is.
What's going on?
We were wondering if you paid your bill.
Hey, man, I just got it back on, man. You know, Sprint is very, 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 very strict. You know, Sprint will cut you off in the Sprint store. So, yeah. So I'm good, man. Hey, man, y'all got me on here with some legends. Wesley, Britt, what's happening, man?
What's going on, Steve? Man, I'm glad to be here. I am glad to be here.
Hey, man. Hey, so am I, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, dude. I'm glad to be here after a brief bout with diarrhea, but I made it. I got done and I made it.
That ain't no joke. I see you keeping the doors to the bathroom right there behind you.
Yeah, both of them. So yeah, we good. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm a little sore, but I'm good.
Yeah.
Actually, he brings it up because we're actually trying to test a new sponsor, Charmin. So we're hoping that works over well with our audience.
Hey, yeah.
Steve, how come we can't get that step show, man? We talked about this earlier, and I saw it in one of your old comedy routines. Can you not move like that anymore?
Hell no. I'm not gonna lie. Hell no. Let me tell you something. My knees are bad, and I ain't even getting the games. So
I tell you, hey, size has diminishing returns.
I think I'm the only football player in history that has torn ACLs on the sideline. So look, I'm just saying.
Hey, hold on. You know what? Do you remember that was back when Darren McFadden and Felix Jones was playing for Arkansas, when that trainer jumped off the bench to celebrate that overtime win that they had, and he just teared both of his ACLs?
That's not no lie. He tore both his ACLs.
Both of them. He jumped off the bench and tears both ACLs celebrating.
Hey, you know what? But you know what? That still does not beat you guys, Marvin. Y'all whole defense went down with ACL tears when you got hurt. The whole defense, and I couldn't understand how the whole
on one series.
In one series,
yeah.
Wesley,
man, it's
Wesley,
like
when Marvin got hurt, the whole defense got hurt. I don't know what happened. Everybody went down with ACL tears. The coach grabbing his damn knee. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on?
Man, I was in a student. I was in a student section. I threw my back out watching it.
Justin, don't get in this again, Justin. See, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, it looked like the ending scene to Avengers: Infinity War. I was like, did he snap his fingers?
Hey man, if that wasn't a brotherhood, I don't know what was. Everybody went down together.
It's all about family, guys. So what are y'all up to nowadays?
Hey, well, I'm happy for a change. I'm happy. Alabama actually was tackling. They were actually playing some defense this time. They were. You know what, man? When I saw the game this past weekend, I said, okay, wait a minute. The defensive coordinator must have died. He must have got somebody else. What happened?
Yeah, Freddie Roach had the defensive line playing good ball. I was glad to see that brand, the defensive line come up and knock back out some passes, get penetrations.
That's right. It was a big difference in the second half of week before last and the whole game this past weekend. The defense, man, they came a linear light year from what we saw in the first few games.
Griff, are you in a presidential suite? I'm just looking at that chair.
I am. I rolled out a good chair for this, Marvin. Nothing but the best.
I feel like
I don't have one of those cool backdrops.
Hey, you look like a mafia don sitting in that chair, man. I'm just wondering.
I feel like we're about to get an inaugural address or something.
You ought to see what I got.
I'm prepared for this.
Griff's reading out election results.
Hey man, that is a nice chair, man. I wasn't gonna say that, Marvin. You must be living good because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This chair, look at this chair. I take like.
Truth be told, this is the only chair I own, so go there, go home.
That looks like
cornrow thing on this one right here. You see.
You gotta step your game up, man.
Hey, Wesley.
Yes, sir.
I need to know something. Have you seen this?
Physical and mental fitness at 40. I have not, but I need that.
No,
I need that in my life.
This is a great opportunity.
30 days I can look like that, Marvin.
No, Wesley, you're missing the point. This is the cover of a fitness book for Marvin, but it's actually porn. You need to check it out. I'm telling you. Every time you open you open, love music plays. All types of love songs. Love song. So
I got on chapter 3 last week as at work, and Keith Sweat started playing out of nowhere. I didn't know what to do. I had to go in the break room.
Well, here's the deal. I am familiar with this book. I have seen the book, but the thing is, I didn't look like Marvin when we were 22. So damn sure look like him when we were 40.
But you know the thing about it though, Griff, I got up to 317, and from 317 I came back down to 215, man. So it's doable, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, for all the watchers, all the viewers and spectators, let me go on pitch Marvin's book. If you want, which camera? Okay, let me look at the camera right. If you want to ruin your love life, get this book. Get this book.
Don't let your wife see it, huh?
No.
It goes like a black lab cover, just like plain craft, so nobody knows, like they used to deliver the Playboys in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Marvin, do I actually have to do what it says in the book to do, or can I just read it and look like that?
Well, you got to do the work. There's actually 3 different workout programs in the book.
Oh, really? Well, hold on. Well, let me get this lotion. Hold on.
That did not sound right, Steve. I'm sorry.
Well, why don't we take this opportunity to talk about your book, Marvin? Before we started, you're telling me about the success it's been achieving. I've seen some videos, seen some great testimonials. So if you would, for everybody here that hadn't heard about the book, like Wesley, give us a little rundown.
All right. So we're 6 weeks into the project. As of today, we're over 500 copies sold. We're doing phenomenal work with this book. More and more people are starting to post their before and afters on my website and on my Instagram. After just 5 or 6 weeks, you can see the body changes that they're making in this amount of time. So, it goes back to the basic principles. You are what you eat. I don't tell people what to eat. I teach them how to eat, along with workouts that are actually going to stimulate their bodies to develop muscles at their late 30s, 40s, and 50s, and maintain long-term success while leaning out. Just because you're in your 40s or 50s or late 30s, you don't have to have the dad bod. You don't have to have the mom bod. Hour a day, 3-4 days out the week, and you can change your life.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, let's use that as our sponsor for our next segment, and that is Constant Chaos. This is where Marvin gives us his unfiltered thoughts on issues surrounding the Crimson Tide. We already started on this. Use this opportunity to talk about the Mississippi State game. Marvin, I'll let you start with your thoughts first, and then we'll all join in.
So are we doing Constant Chaos, or are we talking about the Mississippi State-Alabama game?
Well, both. But the thing is, the chaos can be good or bad chaos. And I feel
I want to start with the chaos before I get to the Mississippi State game.
Okay.
The chaos has nothing to do with Alabama and playing Saturday. The chaos has everything to do with LSU.
Oh.
How did you make Auburn look like they were the greatest team in the world? Did you even pinch them? Did you even get off the bus? I'm watching this game. I had to turn it off at halftime. I mean, did they even show up? All this talk about LSU and these recruits and this talent that they have, to let Auburn drag them through the mud like that. They made Auburn look like the best team in the state of Alabama for a little while, of course, until we played, then we cleared all that up. But it is nothing, man. LSU.
I was just dumbfounded. After what they did to South Carolina, I thought for sure they had rounded the corner. They had some things figured out. They had this freshman kid who looked phenomenal. Man, laying an egg is not even the right way to describe it. It was just absolute devastation. And I'm sorry, it's hard. It is hard to make Bo Nix look good. And they did.
LSU made Auburn look like a turd covered in glitter. Okay.
You know what I see in that? My question is, why do we have to have a bye playing LSU the way they are? We just need to go. We should have played them like the hour after we played Mississippi State, because they are just.
Hey, man. Hey, Steve, I could take you, Justin, Wesley, and Taylor, and we can run down there and handle them the way they playing.
That's right.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
That's right.
I don't know about me right now. I don't know.
Hey, man, if you don't put some flex all on them knees and come on.
Yeah, hey, Marvin, I'm just going to read your book on the way down there. I'll be ready.
Hey, let's go get them, Marvin. Let's gonna get them.
Oh, we were past this.
No,
Yeah.
I think we should get that image and put it on the back of our helmets too, so everybody can see.
Right.
Oh yeah.
They're like, I'm not tackling him.
Dude, Taylor does demolition for a living. He could probably still play.
Oh.
You look like you can still do it too, man.
Hey man, I think if we went down there and we use Marvin's book as motivation, I think they'll start a rule that we have pretty much implemented, and that rule would be no baby oil on the field. Our whole uniform would be covered in baby oil. So I'm like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're not worried about pine tars, the baby.
right.
That's right.
Baby oil.
Wesley, you're having too much fun with this.
He's just glad to be
You're
here.
gonna hear about this for a while, Marvin, my friend.
I'll try to save you when I can. Let's go back to the whole bye week. Guys, how important is it for y'all's players to have this bye week? Looking across the board, we have several players that have bumps and bruises. Our tight end looked like he barely has one arm hanging on and one bad knee. Everybody's really beat up. How important is it to take this week off and just to kind of recuperate, heal, and kind of refocus?
Well, I think it's really important, especially with a season like we've got right now, where it's all conference games. There's no cupcake games mixed in there, and so our ones have had to really get in there and play. And you don't even some of the games we've had that are kind of blowouts. I mean, you're still playing your A guys because you've had limited practice and limited preparation. So you got to make sure those guys are coached up and ready to go down the stretch. So they're playing a lot more hard-hitting football for a lot longer. So it's really important this time of year to get some rest and recoup and get some of the twos and threes some work. This is the time of year when injuries are going to start to stack up, and we got to have those guys ready to go when their opportunity arises.
And Griff, to that point,
that's a good analogy, but I think you said something that I didn't agree with. You said the twos and threes. What about people like me, like the 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s? We need an opportunity.
It's a bad knee, man. I don't know when that opportunity is going to come.
Yeah.
No,
I don't like him.
I think mentally, they needed the break. I mean, all the adversity they've had to go through with all this COVID mess, and I mean, just the mental effort it's taken to stay focused and not let all the distractions just kind of distract us. I think mentally it's important to get that break.
Yeah, I agree. Physical, you need the time to rest and recoup. But just like Justin, what you pointed out, man, mentally is where I always needed the bye week, just to think, get some time to breathe and be a student for a while and process everything. This has been a crazy year, anyways. Just the changes that are happening in the world and NCAA, SEC taking all the power away from the NCAA. It's a lot to process.
But something. I want to say this too. My point for this bye week is that the defense went out on a high note, even though we've been struggling all year. And I think that's really, really good for them mentally. It's like a cycle. Like, okay, we did it before the bye week. Let's work on it even more, while we're resting, getting those mental reps and stuff like that. I think it'll help the defense out tremendously, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I mean, I think they needed some confidence, and everybody in the country was down on them, down in the coaches, down in the players. They can't play, they can't get it done, and they've played a good game and a half of good defense, and went on a real high note. And I think that does as much for their psyche as anything.
Yep. It also gives them a chance. It also gives them a chance to kidnap and get rid of the defensive coordinator. I'm just saying.
Looking at it though, this bye week is going to serve a major purpose for them, allowing that defense to look back at the success that they have had and looking at how they can take that success and magnify it as they move forward. Because again, they know as they move forward, teams are going to look at what they've been doing to stop people versus what they were doing when they was getting points scored on them. So they're going to try to find ways to expose them. So having this bye week is going to allow them to fine tune what they're doing even more. And then that recovery, allowing these guys to get back healthy so that hopefully we can start to get more effective of a pass rush and really dig in, because we're about to get into the home stretch of our schedule. And you better believe LSU is going to show up. Auburn is going to show up. These guys are not just going to lay down when they play in Alabama. These guys are going to show up. So, we got to be prepared for that as we move forward.
You really believe LSU gonna show up?
I believe they're gonna show up for one reason and one reason only.
Okay.
You know where that game's at, don't you?
LSU.
Right. If you got nothing else, you're gonna have some level of pride. And then LSU and Alabama has always been a close game. Yeah. Even when one team was down, even back when we played, LSU was trash. But again, they come time to play Alabama.
Yeah.
Close game. They never lay down when they play Alabama.
Right.
It's like whenever we played Southern Miss or Mississippi State or Ole Miss, they raised their game to a new level when they got a chance to play Alabama. We're everybody's rivalry.
It was their Super Bowl every time.
I mean, there is a saying, the Tide don't lose in Baton Rouge, though, so I have to hang my hat on that a little bit. But no, you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter what the records are. LSU is going to show up. I know that they've been sticking up the place here lately, but you had better believe they're going to be motivated. They're going to be driven. They're talented. They don't have it all together just because they didn't have experience, but they got some talented guys on that group of young men in Baton Rouge. And Brennan will be back as well, I think. So that might add a little bit more to their arsenal. We'll see. But I honestly feel like they're going to show up and give us a little bit of a tough time for a good while.
I'd rather Brennan be playing because he's terrible. Hey, that's better for us.
I'm predicting a blowout. I'm sorry. I've watched LSU too much, and Bama is really starting to snowball as far as the positivity. Even I wasn't impressed with the defense at all, but now I'm like, okay, wait a minute, all right, So I'm telling you, Alabama's on the up. Alabama's on the up, and LSU had their souls taken away by Auburn, who was terrible. They can't have confidence. I don't see it. I don't see it.
It goes back to that pride thing when you're playing at home. I get it. We just 41-0, but it was against Mississippi State. I mean, Kentucky beat them 24-2. So you can't really weigh too heavily on that. Kentucky beat them 24-2 now.
Marvin, you talking about pride. Let me tell you something, man. Do you know how many times I got beat up in front of my daddy? You talking about pride? I tried, but I couldn't win a fight.
So let me ask you this. Speaking of that, so Coach O wins a national championship last year, right?
Right.
And now he loses 12 players, and they keep saying that we lose 12 players to the draft, it seems like every year.
Yeah.
And now they look like one of the worst teams in college football. How long can he keep his job off that national championship? If he
just got a raise. Well, he got a new contract.
Off of it for a while.
He got a new contract, then he just took a pay cut.
He can roll on that win. He can roll off that national championship for a while, several years.
Hey, Gene Chizik did it for what, 2-3 years?
I believe it was actually 2 years after the fact. They ran him out of town, I think.
Yeah.
And they wish to this day they had kept him because Gus is terrible.
I said the night that LSU won the national championship, I said, looking at what they got coming back and people were leaving, they're going to be trash. And I was dead on. That was it. He'll never win another national championship. They're going to be somebody else. He's done. I'm just keeping it real. I'll try to be optimistic, but then again, I'm not an LSU fan. I'm all about Bama, so I really don't care. I can care less.
I think it was the perfect storm for them last year. All the pieces came together. I mean, he had a great staff. They got Burrow. They got this receiving core. They got this run. All the pieces came together at the right time, and I don't think the LSU fan base was prepared for what they.
But you know what, Griff? They beat us last year, but Tua was hurt. And we had a lot of early mistakes in that game, and we were down by 3 touchdowns and still almost won that game.
Yep.
Under any other circumstances, we would have beat them.
Yep. I say the same thing. Sure. We beat ourselves against LSU. Well, LSU had some help. Our damn defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see our defensive coordinator on the sideline Saturday night, Steve. Where was he?
He was at my house.
Oh, I was gonna say, I
Wait.
thought he was at Crystal getting one of those 10 for 10s.
Hell no. So you know what? Now this is what I like to do. I like to put pressure on the ex-Bama players. Wesley, what do you think about the defensive coordinator? Don't be politically correct, because I'm gonna call you out on it.
And don't be shy. Speak your mind. This is a
Yes,
safe place.
we are open forum.
Like you said, we've looked really weak, and when Ole Miss gets 2 yards every time they want it, running right up the middle, something's wrong against the Alabama defense. Something's wrong. They did it. They did that all game. They had their will. When they wanted 2 or 3 yards, they got it. There's some things, but it looks like, man, how do you argue with last week's performance? I mean, they made some corrections. They made some adjustments. Now we're going to have to see if that keeps going. Is the only thing.
There you go.
Being
politically correct. There you go. Griff, you know what? Griff looked like he want to cuss somebody out. Griff, what do you think about the defensive coordinator? And then you, Justin, I'm waiting on you too.
Hey, listen. Wesley's right. I mean, all we can judge him on is with your last game. All right. Now, has it been garbage? I mean, last year, whether
terrible
week after week after week,
Griff,
the same thing, and then everybody expects something more the same, if not worse. But he's got a game and a half of good play. So we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt moving forward. But
Griff, you know what? Griff, you let me down, man. They said you were a damn nice guy, and you proved it. You know what? I'm sick of this. Justin, tell him what you really feel.
Be his saving grace.
Hey, I like seeing the adjustments he made. I mean, it was awful against Georgia in that first half, but second half was a different story. Whenever you can see those adjustments being made, you got to have a little bit of confidence in the guy. I mean, I come from the Shula years, and we were the exact same in the first half as we were the first half.
Hey,
when you see,
but you
and
where are you getting these guests from? I need guests that's gonna cuss people out. What is going on? Where did Pete go? Why are you getting these people? These guys got jobs, they got careers, they got families. Where are you getting these people from?
Digging deep.
Yeah. But I gotta say it again. It was against Mississippi State, the same team that Kentucky beat 24-2. So yes, I'll give you credit for the second half of the Georgia game. But this whole Mississippi State game, I'm not gonna be sold on it based off that. Now we repeat the process against LSU next week, then okay, I'll start to buy a little bit more into it. But based upon our performance the first half of the season, that was trash.
But Marvin, you gotta agree now. They were doing some tackling. They missed probably 2 or 3 tackles. I give you, but they were hitting this time. They were really hitting, and it's probably because they were playing a zone every down, and they kept everything in front of them. So, but they were really hitting.
It's about time.
I'll say that. That's one thing. That's one thing I really noticed was we weren't missing tackles. We weren't just diving at air or just hitting people and not wrapping up. We were wrapping up.
Hey, but you know what, Justin? I gotta say this. Nobody wants to address it. I'm going to address it. I love this guy. I love him. As a matter of fact, he's my fraternity brother. Love him to death. But y'all can speak on it if you want to. I know y'all probably want to be politically correct. Dylan Moses gotta stop thinking about his knee and start playing football. I'm telling you, if you don't, I'm gonna have to give him one of my damn knees.
Steve, you know what though? Yeah. I noticed during that game, it was some key situations when Dylan was on the sideline.
Yeah, he was.
Well, it was some situations in that game. Oh, really? When if you're the leader of the defense, you're supposed to be out there. It was some key situations where he was on the sideline. I'm like, what's going on here?
I really believe after that knee injury, he hadn't gained his confidence back. I just don't believe that, man, because he's not playing like the Dylan Moses he played like before he got hurt. He's just really not. He's missing tackles. People are running over him. He's hitting the wrong gaps, all that. I mean, it's like, I don't know if he's playing not to get hurt, but usually that's when you get hurt, when you're playing not to get hurt.
Right.
That's right.
Very true.
You know, I can tell you this much, and nobody on this panel can tell us more than Marvin about a knee injury, trying to come back from it. But I've had that same knee injury that Dylan had, and you know, the mental aspect of coming back from that is as much as the physical. And you know, you work all these months rehabbing it, getting your strength back up, trying to get your mobility back up, and then there comes a point in time when you got to strap it on. You got there and play football, and you know what? You hadn't rehabbed for that. You know, you've rehabbed your muscle, you've rehabbed your knee, you rehabbed the joint, you rehabbed your mobility, but you know, you really hadn't dedicated a whole lot of time to rehabbing your brain. And the way, you know, and of course things have come so far since I had that injury. They're getting, but also the expectation, not just how far things have come, just the expectation of getting these guys turned back out there. You know, they got less and less time to really prepare themselves mentally for getting over that hurdle. And it at times can be as difficult, if not more so, than the physical aspect of it, is the mental aspect.
So what you're saying is he's probably got PTSD.
Well, here's the thing. This is something else you have to take into account. They did not have a camp. They didn't have a proper camp. They didn't have a proper summer. So, you know, you didn't get to go through all the 7-on-7s and all the things that he would normally do to test that knee before a season even start. It was pretty much like, okay, you're cleared. Here you go. Go do what you do.
I think
He goes out like
Marvin, I think we
a
just
little
need to send
ligament
the
like
whole
that.
defense. I think we just need to send the whole defense and Pete Golden a copy of Marvin's book, and we'll be good to go.
Bring him
We'll be
back.
back.
Bring him back. Hey, Wesley, you come back next week. You come back next year. Come back next. But you know, hey, you know, real talk. I'm with Griff on this all the way. I think it's a mental thing. I think it's a mental thing. I think that he needs to deliver a hit or get hit one good time and say, okay, I got this. Let's play football. I think that moment hasn't come for him yet. Whereas he just get a ooh-wee hit and his confidence just automatically comes back. Because right now, from what I can see, you know, I think that he's playing not to get hurt. And I'm afraid for him that he's going to get hurt again because he's playing not to get hurt.
That's usually when it happens, when you're playing not to get hurt. That's usually when it happens.
Well, it ain't never happened with me because I was on the bench.
When you have an injury like that, when that happens to you, I mean, there's no way you can replicate that pain like that, what that feels like. And then you go through everything it takes to repair it and rehab it. And man, it just takes time to expunge that from the back of your mind. Like, you don't want that to happen again. You know, I've just been through 7 months of this rehab. I've been in the hospital. You know, the pain and the anguish associated with it. And it's just human nature. And some people are tougher than others and get through it faster than others. But others, you know, he's got a lot of things coming at him too. You know, I mean, this guy's on the verge of being a multimillionaire, and you know, right now he's living in Bryant Hall or doing whatever you know these guys are doing, and it's such a lifestyle shift that he's so close to. So I'm sure he's scared, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing about it though, if he's that nervous and that scared, he should have taken this opportunity, given the state of the world, and just opted out and just continued to train and take care of himself.
And there's a lot of guys, you know, and I admire him for you know for coming back. And
Right.
I mean, I can't say that it, you know, was the right decision because obviously he plays on it.
Griff, because if it was me, I would have shot y'all the deuces. I'd have told y'all, I'm out, fellas. I'm out.
Real quick, guys. We actually allow people to call in, and we actually have our first caller waiting. So let me let them through. You're on live with the Riley and Concert Show. Tell us your name and where you're from.
This is Victor Orocho. I'm from the Sportscast.
You're on live.
What's going on, Victor?
How are you doing?
Hey, we can barely hear your background noises a little bit.
Victor
No,
calling from the
I was watching your show, so I had to shut it off.
Okay, we appreciate that. What questions do you have for any of our guys?
I want to ask you guys what you think of your boy's performance down here in Miami. You mentioned Tua earlier.
Tua Tagovailoa, yeah, his first outing. Guys, what did y'all think about his first outing with the Dolphins?
Man, I'll tell you, I think he you know, he took some big hits, but he's going to be ready to go. I think I was proud the way he stepped up in the pocket. He's not scared. He's ready to go. He you know, he got a couple of good passes that were right on the money. He has to have the receivers catch the ball. Offensive line's got to protect him. Man, I tell you what, Victor, I believe in him enough that I got him starting on my fantasy team right now.
Wow.
Yeah,
you know what I think?
It may be hard, but I haven't lost a game all year either. But that's also because I have Derrick Henry. But
that's a big difference maker.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think that he answered a lot of questions as far as his durability. People would think, well, he's always getting hurt. He's this and that. Tua took some hits. He took some hits. But you know what? He stepped up in the pocket and he did his thing. So like I said, I think that he's gonna move Miami forward. I really do.
Interesting. Another thing Justin and I talked a few times about how Alabama, your boys, you produce incredible running backs. There's no doubt about it. But then Charles Woodson was talking the other day, the top 5 receivers, and like 3 of the 5 were from Alabama.
Thank you.
That's it. I mean, you guys just produce pros after pros, but it was just interesting. I always look at them more as a running back college and defense, right?
Yeah, Victor, we got 72 players that are active in the NFL right now. I mean, the way that Saban's put players in the NFL, I mean, we're just about every position, we're the best in the NFL.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll
doubt. Yeah. But just so we're clear, almost every one of your winning teams always has a bunch of Florida players.
That's
a fact.
Are you done yet?
SEC, come on, bring it down, brother. Where's my man? He's pretty funny.
Hey,
where's my man
can I
there?
ask you a question? Though?
All of them have Florida players.
What is Florida State doing?
First of all, how dare you call us on a prepaid phone and talk about Florida?
Oh my God! You know when a guy knows what a prepaid phone is, he's the guy who can make fun of you.
Hey, Justin, did you accept this call from this correctional facility?
That's right. You wanted somebody to give. Wait a second. You said earlier you wanted someone to give you some feedback, and I needed to defend Justin. You were making fun of his guess, and I was like, "Man, I can kick this guy out." It took me an hour to get through.
Who snuck that cell phone in your cell for you?
I know.
Victor, did you hear me that you talk about Florida, Alabama again has 72 people on active rosters. Florida has 20,
you mean the
21.
University of Alabama. There's a huge difference between, I wasn't telling you about the university. University's phenomenal. I was the one mentioning, holy smokes, look how great their how great their receivers are. Look how great their running backs are. I'm just telling you that most major schools, their talent comes from Florida.
What's Miami's record? What's Florida's record? What's Florida State's record?
Wait. They're stealing them from us. We just did a bad job.
You're right.
He did it. Hey, Jimbo Fisher screwed Florida State, number one. University of Florida is always pretty good, and Miami's trying to be like a Harvard great football team. It's a pain in the rear.
Okay, you know what? Let me say this to you, sir. I don't think you understand. Miami was great until Alabama stopped that rain. Okay. Number 2, think about, I want you to put all 3.
Man, are you crazy? That's funny. That's some funny stuff, man. You got to be kidding me. The whole SEC went on a tear, bro. It wasn't just you guys. Well, listen to me. All right. So go look at the old tapes at University of Miami when we were stomping all of you. Okay. And then look at the college handbook, which you're not allowed to do. What you're not allowed to do in the college handbook was mimic after the University of Miami because we were swiping everybody.
Hey, man, in 92, Gene Stallings beat y'all to death. Okay,
hey,
and we heard nothing else. As a matter of fact, we took y'all gold chains. Now,
I don't want to hijack your show, man, but I just had to give him some heat because he said no one was giving me heat, bro.
Hey,
no, I'm giving you heat, and I'm giving you the truth. Last thing, I want you to put Miami, Florida, and Florida State together, and we still got more rings than y'all collectively.
Hey, Steve, they got off that plane in 92 with them fatigues on. They got back on the plane in hospital gowns.
And guess what? You hadn't heard, Miami hasn't been relevant since 92. Alabama, we're dream killers.
I got nothing to say about that. I told you what happened. Jim Official screwed Florida State.
Sir,
Both my kids are graduates from there. I would never think that in Florida State would go 5 years in a row that bad, ever.
Sir,
my son's entire college career was with a shitty football team.
Well, he's spending too much time at the Moon on Wednesday night down there in Tallahassee.
Yeah, hang up the phone before you run out of minutes.
Hi, Justin. Hey, great show.
Thank you, sir.
I just wanted to, call in and give you some support. Keep up the good work. Constant. You guys are great, man. We promote you. Hey, come on our show. We'd like to hear from you on Thursday. So any of you guys are more than welcome.
I'm available.
All right, man.
I love you. I love you.
Well, you see, when I saw it come up, the Correctional Institute, I thought that was Steve's girl, so I wanted to make sure I want to make sure we pass them through. So let's get to focusing on these guys' careers. Hey, Steve, did you try to recruit all these guys to Stillman? What happened?
I did, man. We didn't have enough money to even take the recruitment trip. We had to, we had to tell them to come to us because we couldn't, we didn't have enough money to go to their houses, so we had to tell them to come to us, and they didn't want to do that. So Alabama, kind of got them.
Hey, Steve, my wife just joined the Stillman board of trustees, and I told her for her first board duty, she's got to get a football team back at Stillman.
And you know what? Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That would be great because we ran out of money, and we had people coaching Stillman that wasn't even real coaches. We had dudes that had to go at the third quarter. They had to go to Walmart and clock in. We had people. We just didn't have it. So hopefully your wife can do some things at Stillman, and we can get some people. Cool. That's great. That's a great thing. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I got a question for the Britt brothers. How competitive was it in y'all's house growing up?
Justin, you want to start with that?
Oh, man, shoot. Man, I sit down with my kids. I have 4 kids, 7 and under, and I'm still fighting for that chicken leg. Because, I mean, being that younger brother, man, if I didn't eat fast, it was gone. Because you can guarantee Wesley's going to my plate. So we've competed on every food, sports, everything.
Wait a minute. Y'all twins?
Looks like it now.
Hey, and they say all black, and they say all black folks look alike. Look at y'all. Oh my damn! Look at y'all.
Bloodline strong.
Yeah, it was. It was always unhealthy competitive. I mean, we fought like best friends, but we fought all the time over everything, and nobody wanted to lose at anything. That was just the way we were brought up, and it's not to an unhealthy level, but it certainly helps with the sports. I think there are a lot of things that as athletes you have to get rid of in the business life, and you have to overcome because of your mindset, because we're wired differently. We're wired to play a finite game where there's a winner and a loser, and that's the way it is in every single thing, and that's just not reality.
Well, I got a question for y'all. Oftentimes siblings run into issues when that older one sets the bar so high. The younger siblings tend to avoid certain situations. Like, I'm 4 years older than my sister. Alabama offered her a scholarship to play volleyball. She's like, no, I'm not going nowhere where they know you. So she ended up going to play at LSU because she didn't want to play at Alabama because of what I had done. Mm-hmm. So did you guys feel any pressure from Wesley that would have caused you to go anywhere else?
I did. Actually, Coach Saban recruited me very hard to LSU, and I was really close to going to LSU. And Wesley's senior year on the field was my senior year in high school, or actually his junior year. I'm sorry, his junior year on the field was my senior year in high school as I was getting recruited, and that's when he broke his leg in the Tennessee game. And going into that junior year, Wesley was a top 3 tackle, and he was Playboy All-American. So there was a chance that he was going to go pro, and I wasn't even going to get to play with him. But when he broke his leg, and I knew I was going to get to play football with him on the same team on the same year, there was no questions. Like I'd never gotten to strap it up against Wes, and I was so excited to get to do that because I thought I could hold my own. And man, so once I knew for sure that I was going to get to practice with him. And I mean, Wesley was like just always my hero, man. I just always looked up to him. I mean, you know, every time we went to a restaurant or whatever the case was, I was always walking.
Don't you cry. Don't you cry.
I'm about to. Hey, he was. So once I got the opportunity to play with him, I was all in. I was all in.
Man, never the middle one though, Steve. Not the middle brother.
Okay.
Oh yeah, not Taylor.
Yeah,
it's always that middle one that's forgotten about.
Taylor was actually, I think he had some technical difficulties in rural Alabama, but you know, he was the one who grew up an Alabama fan.
I was an Alabama fan too, man. I watched. I remember the Britt brothers. I watched y'all both my junior years in high school. Both of them.
Now, Wesley, I heard a rumor that you grew up as an Auburn fan. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
our whole family were Auburn fans growing up. Besides Taylor.
So when did you get saved?
When did I? So my senior in high school, Hugh Nall, the offensive line coach, offensive coordinator at Auburn. I was either going to go to Auburn, Alabama, or Florida, and Hugh Nall gave me an ultimatum. He pretty much said, you know, Eddie Grand, running backs coach, recruiting me. He said he made you an offer, and he said honestly, he said you got the offer on the table. If you commit now, we'll take you. But if not, we're going a different way. And he said honestly, I don't think you'll ever play in the SEC. He said, but we made you an offer. I'll stand by for the day, but no, we're going to go to other directions. And so that made it easy there. And then yeah. And
that's
so
a recruiting pitch.
Fast forward 4 years later, so he at the Atlanta Quarterback Club, Hugh Knowles presenting the Chuck Jordan Best Offensive Lineman Award in the ACC and SEC, and he had to present it to me. And
Look at God.
I've never heard that story. That's great.
Yeah, it did say a lot about him, though, that he did bring that up and acknowledge that. But after that, I was either going to go to Alabama or Florida, and Florida was going to. I figured Spurrier would leave to go to the NFL, and only wanted to play for one head coach, so I went to Alabama and played for four. But
yeah, and you had one for only 20 minutes.
Yeah, but honestly, it was Griff, Redmill, and Gia, his wife, who recruited me. They were my host on the my official visit. Man, that sealed the deal. That sealed the deal to see the caliber of young ladies that Griff was hanging out with, and you know.
I'll make sure to tell her you said that.
Is it more you want to tell us?
we played chess and math problems.
Wesley, it may sound like a stupid question, but I gotta ask. What does it that makes an offensive lineman jump? Just a legal procedure. What is it? Is it fatigue? Is it lack of concentration? What is it? I mean, you know the snap count. What is it?
What excitement?
Yeah, am I the only one that's hearing his voice change like
yes.
that?
Are you on a straight talk phone?
Yeah. Like,
no, he's on America Online.
Your voice is cracking.
A helium balloon, you know.
Yeah.
You turn on your Wi-Fi, man. Get off America Online.
Hey, let me tell you something. My voice
Seriously right now.
Hey, Steve, if I knew what it was that made offensive linemen jump when they're not supposed to, I'd still be playing in the NFL, brother.
I sure wish you tell Alex Leatherwood that every game.
Right.
Well,
every day.
I'll tell you what makes them not jump. Neil Callaway had the key to that, and that's about 100 grass drills for every penalty yard you got.
Hey, Griff, I got a question for you, Griff. So what was it like blocking for Sean Alexander during his Heisman Trophy campaign?
Well, I mean, that's the easy one. I mean, Sean Alexander made everybody look great. You know, I was an average offensive lineman at best, and of course I got to play next to Chris Samuels, who's one of the best ever to do it, and I was right there next to Paul Hogan, who was all SEC center, and so we ran to the left a lot by virtue of who was on my left and on my right. And, you know, it didn't matter if you made a mistake or not, Sean's going to correct it for you. And so, You know, I ended up getting a lot of TV time meeting him in the end zone after a touchdown just because he made me look good. So, you know, he's just one of those generational type athletes. And, you know, and we see a lot, and we've seen a lot of great running backs come through Alabama. I mean, really special talents.
Yeah.
And when I go back and watch those games, I mean, Sean Alexander was really on another level than everybody else. I'll never forget, we played BYU in 1998. It was a big game. We just had a big stadium renovation, added, I don't know, 10,000 more seats, whatnot. It was a big deal. And I remember pregame warmups. I think the single game touchdown record was 4 rushing touchdowns in a game. And Sean tells us before the game, he's like, I'm breaking that record today. And we're like, okay, whatever. Like, we're not even paying him any attention. We're just thinking about our assignments, you know? And when we start out and we're, you know, probably 65-35 run pass. And, you know, our first 2 series, we probably had 3 net yards gained running the ball. It's, you know, loss of 2 here, loss of 4 here, whatever, gain of 2 here. And then we come back out for the 3rd or 4th series and we're backed up deep. And Sean says, I'm going to take this one to the house. And we're like, whatever, man, you know, break the huddle. And sure enough, he takes it like 90 yards to the house. And of course, he's going nuts. Everybody's going nuts. And the offensive line jogs up. And we're like, hey, man, if you can just do that, just do it every play. Like, we're doing what we do every play. So you just do it. And but he just had that switch that you're just born with, where he could flip it on.
Well, Griff, I got to say you're very fortunate that you played left guard because you played beside, you know, Chris Samuels, you know, the all-world tackle. So the camera was always on him, you know, and because if you had to play right guard, you'd have got no attention. Right guard is the least famous position on any football team.
I mean, any guard's pretty not famous, I can tell you that.
But at least left guard, you're beside the left tackle. So when they're talking about him, you're going to get some camera time.
Yeah.
But right guard,
at least we were roommates. So
What was it?
That's
What
right.
was it like playing with Freddie Kitchen? Damn.
hey, Freddie was great, man. But I'll tell you this.
And what?
If you told me Freddie Kitchens was going to be an NFL head coach at some point in time, I would have thought there's no way that's happening. But Freddie,
he gives hope to everybody.
Yeah.
hey, he's done well, except that little skirt with the Browns. But
Oh man.
you know, he's turned out to be a good coach, and he was a good player.
Hey, whatever.
He wants to be to
I
his
was
own
watching
brother.
Bama I was watching Bama at home. He threw the damn ball to me.
Definitely wanted to be expecting it when it was coming your way because it's coming in hot.
Yeah. He
Hot.
got fired. He had.
But look, it was hot and inaccurate. Hot and
Yeah, if he hit something, it definitely exploded.
Mhm.
Is that why Michael Vaughn disappeared after his junior year?
Yeah, he killed
That's
him.
a whole different story.
Killed him on a post route.
I believe it. I've always wondered what happened to Michael.
So did we.
Mhm.
Freddie broke his hand.
Can each of you talk about when you faced adversity during your playing career and how you overcame it and what takeaways you had?
I guess I can start there talking about facing adversity. I think Justin referenced it earlier. And my junior year, playing Tennessee, getting rolled up on and breaking my tibia and fibula, had that compound fracture and the bone sticking out. That was some adversity that I had to face. And I think with that, you know, having a good support structure, I think going to having the best doctors in the world in Birmingham helped me, which before that time, I don't even think they utilized the best doctors, did they, Marvin?
We had a butcher working
Yeah.
butcher shop,
Literally.
cutting up chicken and steak.
Yeah. But ultimately, it was, and that's a whole nother story. Don't even get me started there. But I think ultimately it was my faith. It was God that, you know, just knowing that I was provided for if I ever played again, that there was a great plan and that was out there for me. That is the single foundation, family and faith that got me through that. put me in a better spot. I was a better man for sure through that.
That's right.
Yeah. And I'll let Justin.
And it got Justin here.
He is so nice. He is so nice.
What about you, Griff?
Well, Wesley and Marvin, got to live through part of this, but probably not to the extent that we did, because I was a few years older than them. But for me, the opportunity to play at Alabama, that was a childhood dream of mine. And I was not a 4-star or 5-star recruit. I was a really late bloomer, and so the way that all came to be for me was like, it was almost like a miracle in the end. And then it happens, and my time in Alabama, was very tumultuous. We were coming off my true freshman year. I was in Coach Stallings' last signing class, so I come in, they redshirt me, so I'm on the squad, but I don't really get to play for Coach Stallings. He retires, and then Coach Dubose takes over. So it's this up and down few years for Alabama football. So we have a terrible year, mediocre year, and then we had this great year in '99 that was really kind of miraculous. And so coming into my senior year, there's all these high expectations. I think we're preseason number 3 or number 2, and the absolute wheels come off the cart. I mean, we were atrocious, and nobody expected. It's just no other way to put it. We were awful.
I'm still bitter about that.
Hey, Griff, you said the wheels came off the cart. There wasn't even a cart that season. It was just a bunch of guys.
There's barely wheels.
Some horses dragging some dead bodies.
Who was the coach?
DeBose.
Who was the coach?
DeBose.
So anyway, the long and short of it is, so I'm 22 or 23 years old, how old I am, and you've lived your life and you've worked every spare moment to make it to this level right here, and it happens for you. And you've worked through downtimes, and you and your teammates and your buddies here, you've kind of built this thing back up, and you've got it to a level where you're like, all right, we finally made it. And then the 2000 season happens the way it did, and man, it was such a colossal, sad feeling the way it ended, and so it was terrible at the time, and it was a terrible way to go out on. But now that I'm 20 years down the road, I kind of look at it like it's a learning experience for sure. Yeah. Because just because you think you're sitting in high cotton, things don't always go your way. They don't, and so you got to take something from that, and you got to learn from it. And it was a learning experience in how to deal with ups and downs in life. And so while we didn't appear in the record books looking back, like I wish we would have, I got that one season in '99 that was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the best part about that was nobody expected that to happen. Nobody thought we could go to Gainesville and win, except the 80 guys that got on that plane. Nobody thought we could go to Atlanta and beat them for a second time, except the 80 guys that got on that plane. Maybe Justin.
Yeah.
But we did. Played in the Orange Bowl, and sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. And so it was a valuable learning experience for me. And 20 years down the road, I look back on it and I'm like, you know what? Nobody really remembers the record. I got to say, what was your childhood dream? And mine was to play at Alabama, and I got to do that.
Griff, I want to apologize to y'all, Griff, because honestly, man, it's always weighed on me. I've always felt like 2000 season going as bad as it did was partly on my back because I was not there. To this day, I feel like had I not been hurt, that season, we definitely wouldn't have got beat like that. No way, no how. So, I think that season would have went completely different. But, what can you do about it?
Well, we've all blamed you too, Marvin, this whole time. We pretty much were all
yeah, but are y'all about to cry?
Maybe just a little.
There's no crying in football.
That's right. What about guys get hurt? Guys get hurt. 5-star players don't pan out. True. 2-star players end up being All-Americans. Every season's a new day, and I don't fault those coaches. I think everybody's they're in their space at their given time, and what happens is either going to be a learning experience for every individual involved, or else it's all for naught. And I think that was probably a learning experience for a lot of the folks that were involved on that team.
What about you?
I'm still kind of sort of y'all didn't let Dennis Franchione coach one game.
You're talking about Mike Price.
Mike Price.
Yeah, Mike Price. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
I would have liked to see what he could done.
Well, you saw it at the strip club. It's rolling, baby. What about you? What about
Mike Price? Whatever happened to him? Whatever happened to him?
He went to University of Texas San Antonio, and then after that, I don't know.
I think I'm reading here in Google. After that he caught syphilis. I think, yeah. Yeah, I'm reading. I'm reading in this magazine right here. He caught syphilis.
Did we lose Wesley?
I think we did. I was wondering what happened. But Justin, what about you? Anytime you experienced some adversity, how'd you overcome it?
Oh yeah. Well, for me, I had a surgery after every single year of my college career, so I was constantly dealing with adversity. I mean, it was like a normal thing for me. I think I only got to participate in one spring training because every other year I was recovering from an injury. So it's tough mentally,
Was it the women?
The what?
The women?
Was the women?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I'll just
sir. No. I had I had three surgeries on my shoulder, both of my ankles. So it wasn't definitely nothing to do with women on that one.
Oh, I was just wondering because I had to have a lot of surgeries after all these blue pills I take. But go ahead.
No, I don't have that problem.
Okay, just throwing it out there. Go ahead.
Yeah. I got you. But it was. Go ahead. But yeah, it was always, always a. It was always difficult mentally to have to start from scratch every single year, but it's kind of comes with the territory. You just got to get after it and fight. All I know how to do.
All right, now sorry to change the subject, but I was told that Griff has this phenomenal story he wants to tell. Griff, the floor is yours.
We like stories.
I can't believe we've lost Wesley because this is all about him. But so while we were playing, I'm sure you guys all remember that Kenny Stabler was still doing the color commentary.
Yeah.
For the radio broadcast. And I loved Kenny because he always went over and beyond to call up the offensive lineman. Now, on any given play, anytime he had opportunity, he'd give us credit. Now, about 90% of the time, he'd butcher our name. Redmill, it was any combination of footballs, but he was trying. And my mom and dad always appreciated that. So anyway, you fast forward to probably 2002. I'd graduated in 2000. Kenny's still doing the radio broadcast. And he's opened this restaurant there on the strip called 12. I don't know if any of y'all remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
I got kicked out of. I got kicked out plenty of times.
I'm sure, yeah. So I'm in Tuscaloosa for game day, and I've got like a whole cast of customers with me that I'm doing business with. People I'm entertaining, take them to the game. We're gonna go to dinner afterwards, and we're gonna go to 12 Steakhouse. So we walk in the door, and who's standing there but Kenny? And stand at the front door, shaking hands with everybody that walks in. And so, even though I've just come out of playing for Alabama, and I've met Kenny plenty of times, it's still like, and this is Kenny Stabler, and I'm thinking, there's no way this guy remembers me. I look at him, he looks at me, and he's like, "Hey, buddy," throws his hand out there, "How you doing?" Gives me a big old hug, and I'm like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." Kenny Stabler remembers who I am. And so I say, "Hey, these are some friends of mine," and I kind of whisper to him, "Hey guys, Kenny, this is customers of mine. When we get seated, would you come over to our table?" No problem. So they seat us, and here comes Kenny, and he's going around the table, shaking everybody's hand, spending some time with each one of them. And I mean, for me, I'm a new sales guy. I'm brand new at this, and this is the best possible situation imaginable. I mean, I got the snake right here, spending personal time with each one of these guys. And he makes his way around the table, and he comes over to me and he says, "Hey, if it's okay with you, I've got some folks that I'd like to introduce you to, if you got time." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" "Yeah, of course." And he's like, "Well, come on back here to the private room." And so I get up and I tell my guest, "Hey, excuse me, I'll be right back." So we go back into the back of the steakhouse, and we walk into this private room. There's probably, 15, 20 people back there, and there's Kenny's private party. And Kenny says, "Hey guys, I want to introduce y'all to somebody really special to me. I want y'all to meet Wesley Britt." And so I just go around the table, shaking hands, and like, "I'm Wesley. Good to meet y'all. I'm Wesley."
Man.
Bubble.
I'll have to tell Wesley that one.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That was good.
I have got a lot of mileage out of that story over the years, though. So
that is an ego crusher. Oh my God.
So what was it like hearing y'all's name called over the loudspeaker at Bryant-Denny Stadium for the first time?
Oh man, that's something that for me, I always try to make it a point to live in the moment and embrace these things and just be cognizant of how big a deal this was. And I know a lot of times these kids are so hyped up coming in through the recruitment that I think a little bit of that's lost on them. But growing up, going to Legion Field, going to Bryant-Denny Stadium, and wanting that to happen for me at some point, it was never lost on me. But as the years go on, and I was lucky enough to play a lot of football for Alabama, and so you get a little used to it, a little desensitized to it. But I don't know what was a bigger emotional moment: the first time that I ran out on that field, or the first time that I was sitting in the stands after I was done playing. We played UCLA in Bryant-Denny Stadium. That was the first game that I've been a part of in 5 years. And I'm sitting up there with my wife, and tears just rolling down my face because I want to be in that tunnel so badly. That opportunity is never going to happen again.
Griff, I got to ask, which best bowl game? Music City Bowl in 98 or the Orange Bowl in 99?
Man, the only negative press in my life I ever caught was when we were going to the Orange Bowl. And Gene Duffy from the Huntsville Times, who was an old friend of mine, and Gene, he always loved to interview me because I'd give him a good quote, and he was asking me the difference in what I thought it was going to be like going to the Orange Bowl versus playing in the Music City Bowl. And I made the mistake, and I'm a communications major, so I should have known. Don't trust any of these people in the media, but I divulged to him what we called the Music City Bowl, which was the Famine Bowl, because my only experience before that was the Outback Bowl, which was like a week-long, all-inclusive vacation. The food was great. We get the Music City Bowl, and we got one peanut butter and jelly sandwich a day for 5 days, and like $99 in per diem for a week, and not to mention it was iced over.
Hey, Griff, don't forget when we got to that first practice in the gym, our sweats were too small.
Yeah, our sweats were too small, and we were in the middle of a snowstorm. Wow. And I remember, they had us practicing at like David Lipscomb High School's football field. And it was not, the field wasn't, you couldn't practice on it. And there's like 6 inches of snow on the ground. And I remember Calvin Hall saying, "Well, I played up here at Gallatin, and we got an indoor practice facility." I remember thinking, Calvin Hall's high school has got an indoor practice. This is 1998. Nobody's got an indoor practice facility. So this tells you what kind of operation we were running at the time. We load up on a bunch of school buses and drive 40 miles north of Gallatin, Tennessee, to walk ourselves into a barn on a concrete slab with some AstroTurf stretched out over it. And, all right, guys, time to practice. We're like, are you kidding me? It was awesome. And then we get throttled by Virginia Tech to make matters worse.
Oh, yeah, that game was terrible. That was terrible. Oh, my God.
Getting beat by Michigan in the Orange Bowl in double overtime or whatever it was, hands down a better experience than the Music City Bowl.
Well, Justin, what was it like having your name called over the Bryant-Denny Stadium speakers for the first time? And what was more special, hearing that or hearing Eli Gold call your name?
Oh, man. It was special. It was a dream come true. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I was, I guess, in 8th grade watching my brother, seeing his name being called over the intercom. And I just knew that that was a dream of mine as well. And then the most emotional moment I had was the first time on the bus, driving from the hotel to the stadium and just seeing the fans around and then walking through the Walk of Champions. That was the coolest moment for me. And that was the biggest, I guess, emotional experience I had, because I was always a huge college football fan first. I was an Auburn fan first, but then I became a huge Alabama fan as soon as Wesley committed to Alabama. But man, getting on that bus and then seeing the kids around looking up to us and thinking, man, that was just me just a few short years ago. That was the best experience that I can remember.
So my question to both of y'all is, what is it like coming out of that tunnel? Oh my God, that I would think that's got to be the man. What? I mean, the first time I came out of the tunnel, I literally cried. It's because I broke out of prison, but still, it's still a tunnel. It's still a tunnel. Just expound on that. What was that about? How was that?
It's hard to explain. It's hard to put into words. You're all packed. There's 80 of you or 90 or whatever, how many there are of you, and you're all jam packed in there. And that roar of the stadium is just off the Richter scale. It's like it's funneled right down through that tunnel, and everybody's going nuts. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're playing LSU or San Jose State. Everybody's going nuts, beating on that chain link fence, and just hyped and ready to get out there. And then you hear the band start to play, and man, and then they lead you out there, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you could run through a brick wall. And I've yet to find anything in my life that could replicate that experience.
Justin, what about you?
And then I can remember standing in the tunnel, and I was a true freshman, straight out of high school. And Buddy White was my defensive line coach, and I had no idea. I thought I could redshirt or I could play. I didn't know. And he came up to me in that tunnel and said, "You're going in the second series." And then when he told me that, man, I was so jacked up, and I ran out of that tunnel. I must have jumped 6 feet in the air just with sheer excitement. I can't just reliving that right now. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how incredible it really was.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When I watch Alabama play and I see them come, that's like honestly, as a fan, that's like my favorite time. Before seeing them come out of the tunnel, run onto the field, I'm like, somebody's about to get their asses beat.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's true.
You know what?
There's always that guy that wants to be the last guy out.
Hey, Griff, time out. I was always the last one out of the tunnel.
Sounds about right. That sounds about right.
But hold on. Yeah. But you want to know why I was always the last one out? Because there was always these guys that weren't going to get in the game, that wanted to be in the front, and they're going to come out with all this excitement, bumping and knocking people over. I never wanted to get knocked over coming out of the tunnel by these guys who weren't going to touch the field, just excited to be running out of the tunnel.
I can tell you, they were behind me because I didn't want to be anywhere but right in the front. I want to be mowing cheerleaders down. Didn't matter.
I was always last.
You know what? I've heard guys that play for Bama, they didn't get a lot of playing time or got any playing time. I've literally talked to guys that said, I just wanted to suit up and run out of that tunnel.
Yeah.
And that's real talk. They just wanted to suit up and run out of the tunnel.
And that's why I was always in the back, so I didn't get knocked over by them with their excitement, because they come out of the tunnel 100 miles an hour, like that's the whole objective. Like, we're just coming out of the tunnel, guys. We still have to play.
But they're living their dream, though. There are kids that would practically die to suit up for Bama and run out of that tunnel.
Yep.
That's right.
No doubt.
It's not like they just let any Joe Schmo do that. I mean, those guys, they've worked their butt off to get that spot on the team and gotten the starters ready to play that week. And and earn the right to dress out, and that's their moment of glory. You know, I mean, that's as good as you're gonna get for them.
Hey, you know, I had nothing against them in that moment of glory. That's why I was always in the back, so they can do what they do, and I'm back in the back safe.
Wow.
He wanted to come out and do that Ray Lewis dance. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Hey, Griff, what was a bigger deal to you in 1999, beating Florida twice or being the first team to beat Auburn at Jordan-Hare?
Probably beating Auburn at Jordan-Hare. You know, and I think as the years go by, I kind of flip-flop on how I feel about those two experiences. You know, the Florida thing was just at that point in the season. I mean, it seemed so far out of reach, probably for the fans, and you know, and we get on that airplane headed to Gainesville, and that team was special because we had a really great group of leaders that had kind of been able to change the mentality of how we thought about ourselves as a team. And I think every guy that climbed on that plane believed that we could beat them. And of course, the game wound up being spectacular. But you know, that Auburn game, you know, we never won down there. And if I remember correctly, we had to win that game to go to the championship, to go to the conference championship, if I remember correctly. And you know, we come out, and I'll never forget. I was playing head to head against Leonardo Carson, and Leonardo, he was a great defensive tackle, and man, he fed me my lunch the first two quarters, and I had my hands full, and we just didn't do hard. Wasn't just me; none of us did anything the first half. And we go into the locker room, and I've rarely ever heard Chris Samuels hardly raise his voice or call anybody out, but he pretty much challenged everybody's manhood in that locker room at halftime. And you watch the second half of that game, and we came out and beat the ever-living tar out of those guys in the second half, and walked away with that one. And so, you know, it being the first one, anytime you're the first one to do something, it's special. And knowing, you know, how we played in the first half and what we did in the second half to take it over, that was pretty special.
Hey, Griff, speaking of Florida, Griff, I got to go back to 1998, my freshman year. How did y'all let Mike Peterson and Javon Curse end John David Phillips' football career, man? They were wearing him out. What were y'all doing?
It wasn't just him. Reggie McGrew, there's a great video clip of Reggie McGrew beating me from a 3 technique spot, and I'm hanging on like I'm just hanging on for dear life. And somehow I didn't get a holding call, but I'm just trying to keep John David from getting killed. But you know, and that right there, I think that shows you where we came from 98 to 99. Because I mean, you think nobody gave us the chance in 99? I mean, that 98 team was going to beat them, but we took them to no matter how bad we played, we took them. I think it was a 1 touchdown game.
Yeah, we lost by 1 touchdown. But my thing was, how did John David Phillips not see Mike Peterson coming off the end, running straight at him? It wasn't even from the back. He's running straight.
That question. But
I've never seen a quarterback get hit like that in my life.
I'll tell you this about Florida. People give Florida fans a lot of grief about, you know, they're redneck, they're this, they're that, they're poor sports. But Wesley mentioned my girlfriend, now my wife. She had her house was right there next to Bryant-Denny Stadium, right there by the Ramajamma. And so after the games, I would just go right to her house. So we had to walk home. You know, they couldn't bus us out of there because of the traffic. And so that game in 98, I'll never forget it. Me and some of the other guys, I don't know, for all I know, you might have been sitting there with me, Marvin, but you know, we're sitting there, we're in our warm-ups or whatever, and every Florida fan that walked by walked up on that porch and shook our hands and told us what a great game we played. And then the next year in 99 in Gainesville, when we beat them, I remember coming out of the locker room and their fans were lined up at our bus shaking our hands. And, you know, that was a pretty cool memory.
Yeah, we did end 38, 39 game home win streak.
39 games in 1 in a row at home.
Yeah.
Guys, quick news flash on the presidential elections. Kanye West is winning. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
I thought he would.
That's who I voted for.
I thought he pulled out of the election. I get on my ballot and I see Kanye West. I was like, what? The crazy thing is he's not on every state's ballot. I've talked to friends from different areas. He's not on their ballots, but he's in Mississippi. He's in Alabama, and
Not in Georgia. Not in Georgia.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Guys, well, I'm motivated, and I just want y'all to know, next 4 years, I'm running.
My vote.
You got my vote.
I'm running. If Kanye can do it, so can I.
That's right. That's right.
Can each of you talk about your greatest moment at Alabama?
I'll let Justin go first.
Sure. All right. I guess my greatest moment would be against Mississippi State. I was playing defense line. I got my first sack. Well, actually, it was probably my second sack, but I just had a great game. And man, I can remember coming off of the side. I guess it was my first sack, and I came off the sidelines, and both of my brothers met me and just congratulated me. And it was like, just like a day that I'd been waiting for, just to kind of to see my brothers be like kind of like I did them a good job, and I finally was accepted, kind of a deal. So it was that was just a huge moment for me, because family is the most important thing to me, for sure. When I came off that sideline and saw both of them standing there cheering for me, dapping me up, man, it was just an emotional, great experience that I'll never forget.
How about you, Griff?
And that's a tough one. I guess probably have to be in this Auburn game we're talking about in '99. And, I played for Neil Callaway, and Coach Callaway was not real big on giving out a whole lot of attaboys or any kind of praise whatsoever, no matter how great of a job you did. And I just remember it, this one crucial part of the game when the tide was kind of turning, so to speak, and we were taking over, and it was a critical possession for us, and we run that zone left play, and we score. And I didn't realize it at the time, but we were in film study the next day. Coach Callaway actually stopped the tape, and he takes his little pointer and he starts circling, and he circles every one of our guys that we were blocking, and every single guy was on the ground. So all 5 offensive linemen got a pancake on that play. He's like, you know what, guys, it's real hard for them to tackle any SOB if they're laying on the ground. And I just thought, that was kind of the culmination of a whole lot of hard work. And if you can make Neil Callaway give you a compliment, then, you can probably, do just about anything.
Hey, Griff, I felt sorry for y'all a lot of days, having Neil Callaway and Ivy Williams as y'all's offensive coaches. Ooh. I felt sorry for y'all.
Jeez. Yes, I did too. I was out at spring practice one day standing next to those coaches. I mean, I felt bad. I thought about walking on. I was like, no.
Hey, you know what? Coach Callaway, he was a hard, old cuss kind of a coach, but I appreciate everything that man taught me. I mean, I'd never played offensive line before. I came there as a defensive lineman, and when Coach Stallings retired and Coach Dubose took over, I think before the ink was dry on Coach Dubose's contract, he asked me to move to offensive line, and between the two of them, they thought that'd give me an opportunity to play, and they needed me because our numbers were so depleted from we were on probation, and I was just happy that they thought enough of me that they thought that was a better fit for me. And he was hard on us. He was real hard on us. He was always fair, very fair. And you knew where you stood with him because he was not going to mince words about telling you what he thought about you. And, he was tough, but I learned a lot from that man.
Listen, I'll tell you, I'm not going to say which coaches said what, but I'll tell you 2 of the funniest things I ever heard on a football field or in a football practice. We had a lot of coaches, from Dubose to Jackie Ship to all those guys who you never knew what you would hear. I'm not going to say who said these 2 things, but one was I heard a coach tell somebody in practice one day, you should have been a stain on the sheet. And I just looked, and I'm like, wow. And then another time I hear a coach, I heard a coach tell a kid, another kid one day when we were practice, your mother should have swallowed. I was like, oh, that has to be so demoralizing. If a coach tell you your mother should have swallowed, like, oh my God, did he just tell him that?
I would love to meet those coaches.
You don't want to meet them.
That's not the worst thing I've heard. Somebody told me, your mom should have swallowed a brick and bust your damn head when she was pregnant. That was clever. When your mama was pregnant,
I mean, you talk about people that can break you down mentally with their words. Those guys were experts at it. Like some stuff to us, they can't do today.
No, you cannot say these things to players today. You will be on ESPN immediately.
You know, like when Mike Leach got in trouble for locking that kid in an equipment closet, like, man, what's the big deal?
Hey, listen.
He lost his job.
You want to talk about racially insensitive though? Like, I'm again on defense. I'm not gonna say which defensive coach used to do this, but you know, Salim Rashid. Salim was a Muslim. Never called Salim by his name. Every time Salim would mess up, God damn it, Muhammad. I was like, how insensitive can you just call this man Muhammad?
I'm gonna be honest. We did take a bag of pork rinds to Salim Park.
They called everything but Salim. They called him bean pie every damn day.
Man, those coaches were brutal, man. When I say they were brutal, they were brutal.
Hold on, they call when they got mad at him, they called him Muhammad.
Yeah. God damn it, Muhammad. Like, damn, coach, you don't call him by his name. You don't call this man Muhammad.
Call that man Malcolm X. Call him everything.
People cared about being politically correct. You know, nobody cared about being politically correct. And I'm like, I don't know if that's okay.
Were they a little bit easier? Were they a little bit nicer during your day, Justin?
Yeah, a little bit. that sounds pretty brutal. I don't remember anything that bad, but
that's funny.
You had some intense coaches, though. I mean, were they pretty brutal at times?
Oh yeah, Joe Cons. Now Joe Cons, he would let you know what you're doing wrong. That's for sure. But you know, I mean, he screamed a lot, but he's still a man of God, you know. So it wasn't too brutal.
Well, our coaches claim to be men of God, but they were still brutal.
That's
right. That man calls him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's move into the predictions side of our show. So I'll start out with Griff and move down the line. All right.
Well, wait. Hold on. Is Bama playing this week?
No.
All right. Bye, y'all. Shit.
Well, Marvin, you still betting, right?
Yeah, I'm still betting. I'm betting every week.
Okay, so this applies to you. Number 23, Michigan versus number 13, Indiana. Feels like these rankings should be reversed, but
time out. Before we get into Michigan, what did I tell you last week? If they were shooting a music video, I would pick Michigan, but they weren't, and I picked Michigan State. Remember, I picked Michigan State last week.
Yep, you did.
I did too. I didn't.
Oh, Griff, who you got in this game?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. I hate giving predictions because I'm always so awful at them. But
can't be worse than me.
Yeah.
My bank account will agree with that statement.
This is why I don't gamble. You know, but I gotta believe Michigan's gonna beat Indiana. I mean, do I gotta give a score? Because I'm afraid I'll be more embarrassed.
You know, Indiana's been looking pretty decent lately.
They have.
And my prediction is I got two of them. Indiana's going to win, and what's his name is going to lose his job. It's about time.
Harbaugh?
It's about time.
See, I think Harbaugh is a little bit like Gus. Like, he can win one just the right time. Just keep the train rolling.
Well, has he really won that game, though? He really hasn't had that definitive game where he's beat somebody of substance.
Not a definitive game, but just a game. Just enough to keep the record books.
Well, he still hasn't beat.
Harbaugh hadn't won an important game yet.
Last important game he won when he was coaching the 49ers. I'm picking Indiana. You know why I'm picking Indiana? Because one of our former teammates, Steve, and one of our local Tuscaloosa natives is a defensive back coach at Indiana, Jason Jones. Yep. So I'm picking Indiana.
Who you got, Justin?
I want to take Indiana, but I think Harbaugh is going to bounce back. I mean, I can't stand Michigan or Harbaugh, but I think Harbaugh is a good enough coach to get Indiana for sure. We'll see.
Indiana's been playing some ball though.
Indiana's been looking good. Indiana been looking good.
They really have.
Hey, if I'd have known
you're right.
Jones was coaching in India, I probably would have picked them, but I can't go back now.
All right.
That's right.
Number 22, Texas, who's back for the 11th time versus West Virginia.
Texas. I'm going
Texas. Texas.
I'm going West Virginia because Texas is too inconsistent. I'm going West Virginia.
And West Virginia had a big win last week.
I'm going West Virginia as well. Steve's right. Texas is too up and down. You know, Texas is like a bipolar girlfriend. You don't know if she's going to show up and love you or show up and try to kill you.
Hey. My girlfriend's here.
Speaking of dumpster fires, number 20, USC versus Arizona State.
Well, I don't think nobody's going to watch that game.
I haven't watched either one of those teams play all. Oh, yeah.
Well, I will say this, though. I'm going to pick Arizona State. If you watched them last season, Herm Edwards has done a great job turning that program around. And they have a young quarterback that is phenomenal.
Yes.
If you hadn't seen that young kid that they have at quarterback last year, oh, my God, he is good. So I'm going to pick Arizona State, and I'm going to bet on them this week so they better win. But I mean,
why is it that Herm Edwards always look like he damn mad at somebody? What's the problem, Herm?
He is mad. He's a football coach. They're always mad.
An old school football coach. He's not one of these new school coaches who's always happy.
Plus, he coaches the
Based
Jets.
on Marvin's endorsement and the fact that Arizona State has Herm Edwards, so I'm a huge Herm Edwards fan. I'm going to go.
Yeah, I love Herm Edwards. He's going to take it for sure.
I think they actually might win the Pac-12, which they start this weekend. Big game, number 5, Georgia versus number 8, Florida.
I think Georgia.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Griff. Go ahead.
I think Georgia's going to win that game.
It's hard to say because Georgia's offense is awful not awful, but they're not really good at passing because their quarterback is 4'5". And Georgia's defense is banged up. But then again, I don't know how many players from Florida got suspended from that little tussling match. But Florida's defense is suspect. So let's just say I'll say Georgia in a narrow. It's gonna be a barn. It's gonna be a low scoring game. Gotta be because they don't have any offense.
Justin.
Yeah. I like Florida. I think Dan Mullen's got him pumped up, man. After that last game, what he did I mean, I don't see how those players can't respond to what he did. You know, I mean, they're going to get out there and they're going to fight, and I think they're going to get the W. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Well, I'm picking Florida, and I got to shoot a message to my guy Jeremiah Moon, number 7 for Florida. Tell him to make sure he's handling business. If y'all didn't know, Jeremiah Moon is Darius Gilbert's nephew. I've been knowing him, his dad, for a long time. So I'm going with Florida. And Jeremiah, put that work in. Take them dogs down through it.
Marvin, you know, I noticed something about you. You know every damn body. I mean, Marvin, you've gotten around. You know everybody. But the thing is, all the people you mentioned don't know you. What is the problem?
He's like that church deacon. Know everybody,
man. But you know, Jeremiah, he's a good kid though. You know, he went to Hoover, so you know he's from that area. I was actually surprised that he chose Florida over Alabama, man. But yeah, man, like I said, I've been knowing his dad, man, since I played with Darius at Alabama, man. Great family, man. So you know, I always like to message him, give him positive stuff, feedback, and talk to him because you know he got hurt last year, and you know that's definitely when I felt, you know, like, hey man, let me definitely reach out to him a little bit more. And give him some confidence, some words of wisdom, because I've been through what he's been through, and he's responded quite well, and he's having a good year this year. So,
Well, Marvin, since you responding to every damn body, why is it that you didn't call me when I got crabs from this stripper down here at Junkie T's? You didn't call me when I was injured.
I ain't know nothing about that, Steve.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
Ooh, I gotta go Florida this game simply because I think they had the edge at quarterback. All right, number 7.
The edge. That was a good one. I caught that. The rest of y'all lames. I caught it, Justin. The edge. I got you.
Number 7, Texas A&M versus South Carolina.
Nobody's watching that game.
I think maybe Jimbo's getting a little traction there. You know, I mean, I've not been a big Jimbo fan this whole time. I felt they paid this guy all this money and he didn't want anything, but he got to go another day. And I feel like, you know, for as hot of a commodity as Will Muschamp was ever how many years ago, I feel like he's just dropped off the radar.
Yeah.
And you got to,
you know, every year, they always say South Carolina's about to do something, about to make that turn that corner, and it never happens. They don't even get to the damn corner. So it's just, I'll go with Texas A&M.
I'm picking South Carolina. Shout out to my guy, Clint Haggard, South Carolina's head trainer. He was in Alabama. He was in Alabama with us. I know Griff. And I know, you know, I know Wesley, I know Justin Taylor. They all know Clint Haggard. He was a trainer at Alabama. Now he's the head trainer at South Carolina. Clint is the one who took me to my rehab.
Marvin, can we just turn this show into an ancestry show? Because you know every damn body. Maybe you can connect some families or something. God.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know everybody.
I feel like an episode of Dr. Phil start reuniting folks together.
I know a lot of people, man.
Well, then get Tyler Perry on the show.
I know.
I mean, come on.
Hey, Justin, Steve was the one that was in the Medea movie. You need to talk to him about that.
Steve.
Hey man.
He was in the back at the picnic scene. He was in the back eating some watermelon.
Oh my God. Marvin, you're a racist.
Was that
watermelon in front of all these white boys? You're a racist.
Well, you was at a family reunion. That's what y'all was doing. Hey, Justin, but Steve, Tyler probably won't remember him because that's back when he had hair. That's when he had his dreads.
His dreads.
Hey man.
So that
Marvin, I got one left in the back. That's why I won't turn around. I got one left like Stevie Wonder. Just one left.
Are you like the last? Wait, no, you like the last dragon. That's what it is.
Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy. Justin, who do you got in this game?
South Carolina. I think Will Muschamp, he's good for one big win. I think this is his best chance, and he's got that defensive mind. He'll shut down Kellen Mond.
Oh my God!
I kind of agree with you. South Carolina's always due for that big win, but Texas A&M, I feel like, is always due for that big loss and never have any business losing. Even though they're the hottest team in America, they always pull a Texas A&M. So I'm wondering.
You know what? Can I interrupt you real quick though, Justin?
Yes. You
know one thing that we've talked about on this show and off air. It seems like Kellen Mond has been playing at Texas A&M forever. Due to COVID, this season's not counting. Yeah. So you're gonna have to see Kellen Mond again next year. He's like an 8-year senior.
I mean, he's been at A&M.
Hey man, Kellen Mond been at Texas A&M when I was a senior 2 years at Central High School. He was.
Well, he gonna be back again next year for one more year because the NCAA is not counting this year on people's eligibility. So you'll see Kellen Mond one more year.
Kellen Mond has been at A&M longer than Ben Davis has been at Alabama.
Hey, no, he ain't been at that long. He ain't been at that long. They finna start calling Ben Davis Uncle Ben. I'm telling you, Ben is Ben. Ben got rice falling out his pockets and everything. Hey, Marvin, why is Ben still there? I mean, I don't understand. What's going on? Why is he?
Well, you know what? You'll see him again next year because this one don't count.
Ben got to be 37. You know what? Ben is on the sideline smoking cigarettes and everything. Ben is too old to be out there.
You know, in the NBA, they got player coaches. He might be trying to be a player coach next year,
Nah,
calling
man.
plays and running them.
And then he has the audacity to wear jersey number 1. It should be 100. Ben has been there. Oh, wow. Come on, man. How could, you know what? He's got to be the pinnacle of perseverance for Alabama because he's been there in the same position and everybody comes in and skip right over him. What now, you know what? The media was making y'all remember this? The media was making a lot of noise about Ben Davis before the season. Ben Davis is coming around and this and that. Then I guess Saban caught him with his helmet on backwards and like, nah, Ben, sit your ass back down. I don't know.
But he'll be back next year. One more year.
So, I mean, I'm just asking, and I'm not. Do y'all have special needs people on the team or something? Because Ben, what's going on?
He's like Bernie Mac's character in Life.
God. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that.
I never tell him to his face.
Number 12, Oregon versus Stanford.
Ain't nobody watching that.
After that last comment, I'm totally disengaged.
All right. I am picking Oregon.
I'll go Oregon.
You know why I'm picking Oregon? Because y'all know why. My guy, assistant strength coach, Shad Williams, former Alabama running back. Shad Williams, Oregon strength coach staff. I got to pick him on the strength of Shad. Shad, if you watching or somebody watching who knows Shad, tell him he need to respond to my last text message. I sent him last week, too.
Not only do you know all these people, they don't respond to you, Marvin. Hey, I think I'll go with Oregon just because I want to see the duck fall off the motorcycle. So
Justin, who you got?
Who's Oregon playing again?
Stanford. It's a rivalry.
Justin.
Okay, Oregon. I didn't even know Pac-10 football or Pac-10.
I thought it was a surfing league until today. Probably one of the most overhyped teams in the country right now. Number 9, BYU versus number 21, Boise State.
I'm going BYU.
Marvin?
I don't know nobody with either of these teams, so I'm just gonna pick BYU.
So where is BYU? Where is BYU?
Utah.
In Utah.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are playing pretty strong. I would understand why they're so good right now. All of them virgins. So they got a lot.
No,
they got a lot on
Steve. No. Steve, you know what it is, Steve? With BYU, all of their players go on their missions before they can play. So BYU's football team is like 21 to 25 years old. They're grown men playing 18 and 19-year-olds. When they came to Tuscaloosa in 98.
Wait. So why is it that Ben Davis can't leave Bama and go to BYU?
I don't know, but listen, when they came to Tuscaloosa, in 98 with full beards. I mean, grown men. Like, because they go on their mission first. And by the time they do their few years, they come back and their football team is like between the ages of 21 and 25, playing 18 and 19-year-olds.
Wow.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
Wow. And okay. That makes me feel like I can play again.
Nah, I don't do that. Ain't that much liniment left in the world.
Justin, who you got?
BYU, my roommate with the when I was at the Bengals with Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals was a 26-year-old rookie from BYU. So Marvin is all over it. They've got grown men out there on the, no doubt.
Yeah,
Marvin rubbed off on Justin. Now Justin telling who he know.
I know the cafeteria worker on the third floor.
I know.
But y'all gonna ignore the fact that he said his roommate was a 26-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
I didn't know Chris Winkie had a kid.
Hey, whoa. You say your roommate was a 26-year-old rookie? Your roommate was a pedophile. Your roommate was a pedophile.
He didn't ask you for popsicles, did he?
Your roommate. Justin, you okay?
or was he?
No,
Was he your chaperone?
Yeah.
So your roommate was a
Shit. Oh my goodness.
We know who's buying all the bill.
Hey, Justin roommate made him go to bed before he did. Go ahead.
And don't look over here.
Oh man.
Okay.
All right. Big game of the weekend. Number 1, Clemson versus number 4, Notre Dame. Clemson is still without the services of Trevor Lawrence.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Griff.
I know of Trevor Lawrence, but I watched that kid play last week. And he's good. I couldn't pretend to pronounce his name if I had to.
Cuckoo.
Yeah, there you go. That was it. It's hard for me to bet against Dabo, especially when the chips are down. I think I'd have to go with Clemson.
All right. So on one side, we got Dabo with Todd Bates, Lemansky Hall, Paul Hogan, Thad Turnipseed, all those guys. On the other side, we got Notre Dame. We got Lance Taylor, their running back coach, also played at Alabama. It's a lot of Alabama involved in this game.
It is.
But I got to go. I'm picking Notre Dame.
Whoa. We're about to get a call from Rudy.
I'm picking Notre Dame for the upset.
Justin, wait a minute. Justin, you and your guest and Marvin has got to be all these great jokes just going over their head. Did you just say you're going to get a call from Rudy?
Yeah.
I heard him.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Hey, Justin, I'm right here with you, man.
Hey, we're brothers.
I got you. Sure
You're going to be losing your hair too soon, Justin?
You know what? Honestly, they're playing in Notre Dame, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the quarterback, what's his name? Uma Kuku. Whatever his name is.
He's not from Zimbabwe.
Yeah. He came on late. He did pretty good, but he still can't move the offense like Trevor Lawrence. And it seems like to me, without Trevor Lawrence, the offense is like one step behind. Also, Clemson's defense was exposed a whole lot.
Yeah,
so I'm taking Notre Dame in a close one. I think Notre Dame's going. If Notre Dame jumps out ahead of them, they're not coming back.
I don't think they will either. If you look at last week's game, Clemson was on upset alert up until probably 7-8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They were giving all that they wanted.
Until the refs got involved.
Oh yeah, when you're playing at home, you get that home field love, that home cooking, like as they like to call it. But Clemson was struggling, and if they go into Notre Dame doing that, it's gonna get ugly.
Here's the thing. I can understand their offense being a couple steps behind because the quarterback basically was told the day before, "Oh, hey, by the way, you do anything tomorrow, you're gonna play." But the defense gave up 30+ points. I don't understand. I don't understand that. So
to Boston College.
Well, one of them was the guy picks up the fumble and he runs it back for a touchdown. But still,
but that's not the defense. The defense gave up points. The defense,
that's what I'm saying. So it was a lot of points on the board, but you got to look at too what position is offense putting defense in for those points to happen. Because a lot of times people talk about changing the field. If you don't change field position, it often is going to keep that defense in a position where they got to fight a lot harder than they normally would have to. Yeah. So when the offense is struggling, that defense tends to be in bad situations most of the time.
Right.
That's right.
But nobody fights harder than Florida. See, Justin, the only one got it.
I got the joke. Now, and the thing about it though, Steve, the funniest part about that was when Dan Mullen walked in the tunnel and walked back out and started pumping the crowd up.
He did.
That's why the SEC fined him right there. If he hadn't done that, he would have kept his 25,000.
And then he showed his.
No, I thought it was a Darth Vader outfit.
I was about to say that he showed his Darth Vader at the press conference.
Okay, so I think you're missing one game, and I don't understand why a big division college football players always look over these teams and you never give them credit. So give me y'all's predictions. ITT Tech or
Mitchell's Cosmetology College.
Yeah, who's got it? ITT Tech and Phoenix Online. Who's got it?
I'm gonna pick ITT Tech because some of my former engineering students will probably end up going there soon.
Justin, who you got?
They're in that wing tee, man, and it's hard to stop in this day and age. That wing tee is tough.
Go ahead.
Clemson, without a doubt, like you said, to your point, they lost Trevor a couple days before. The quarterback, whatever his name is, had no clue he was going to be starting. He's used to running with the number twos. He's thrown in with the number ones. He's going to have a whole week of preparation with the ones. I mean, you got to look at the morale of the whole team going into Boston College. I mean, they gave up 3 touchdowns in the first half, the defense, and then 1 touchdown in the second half. So, I mean, Clemson's going to win. They're going to win big.
Why is Trevor Lawrence out? Herpes or something? What's going on? What?
Yes.
COVID.
Oh,
he's got the China disease. He's got the China disease.
he met some girl on MySpace called Big Irma.
Hey Marvin, I'm gonna tell you something, Marvin.
Yo, what's up?
Give a damn about your background. I lost all respect for you, Marvin, as an Alabama football player when you put that on. I'm really Marvin.
Yeah.
If you couldn't kick my ass, I will punch you in your face. I swear to God.
Hey, listen, man. ESPN cut me a nice check for that.
Some people do anything for money.
Right.
That's the truth.
And look, he got it up like it's something to brag about. Marvin, take thanks. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see right there. You. That's what I want to see right there. You taking on a block on the practice squad. That's what I want to see right there. I like that.
All right, great predictions. Probably the most fun I've had on the prediction side of things in our entire run. All right, before we go, a couple of news and notes. Marvin, tell us how we can get your book, website, everything like that.
All right. For those of you who have not gotten involved with the movement, you can find the book at 40plusstrong.com. That's the number 440, then spell out plusstrong.com. It's a great book. 3 different workout programs depending upon your skill level: beginner, intermediate, and gym beast. People like myself, so whatever your pleasure is, it's in the book. I'm not going to tell you what to eat, but I teach you how to eat so that you can maintain long-term success and maintain that body once you actually get it. 40plusstrong.com. You can follow me on IG at constant45. You can see some of my workout videos, my tips, my pointers, my everything.
You said, Marvin, eat what?
Oh, God.
Yes.
You never said what that word. What you say you're gonna teach him how to eat? Eat what, Marvin?
Jesus, take the wheel.
You can also find the link to his website on our website too, thesportscast.net.
And on Pornhub.
Matter of fact, we got a promo code on a couple of those sites.
Oh my God.
What's the promo code? Sexy chocolate and what else?
Velvet Thunder.
Justin.
Marvin, one of your promo codes is called Bees Nuts. But anyway.
All right, real quick.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's a family show. It's a family show.
My kids are listening in the background.
It's a family show.
Nice conversation around the dinner table. Just a reminder, the Tyler Turner Show is on Mondays at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. In-depth analysis, recruiting news, talent evaluation. The Jones and a Roadshow Show on at Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. There are 2 guys from Jersey talking about the NFL, the Giants, college football, and whatever comes to their mind. Also, check out my article. Alabama's Najee Harris reminds Tide fans of Eddie Lacy. Let's see, Marvin.
He ain't fat. He ain't fat. No, he don't. He ain't fat.
Not
Who's
yet.
the who?
I was talking about when he was at Alabama, dude.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay. I was just wondering. I thought you were still.
No,
Hey, man, leave Eddie alone. He's somewhere enjoying the buffet. Stop that.
and plus we're still trying to get him on the show.
Right,
Hey.
Steve. We can't get him on here with you cracking jokes like this.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm sorry. Oh, you got to shout my show out too, man. It just came out yesterday. Yeah, Marvin, y'all checked it out yesterday. It's the year we talk like this show on YouTube. If you check it out, you're gonna be amazed. You're gonna love it. And you're gonna lose your damn mind. You're gonna come out thinking like me. You're gonna come out thinking like me. But yeah, we talk like this show is a podcast. Me and 3 other very funny comedians. And we're also, when we're not on the podcast cursing, we're also Sunday school teachers. So y'all check us out.
Yeah. Hey, man, make sure you, whenever you want me to be on, you know, hey, just call me.
Mark, we're gonna talk about your book.
Oh my God.
I
would hate to be on with y'all and y'all talking about this book. I can only imagine how that's gonna go.
Oh, please go on the show and talk about that book. Please. It'll be the most watched show on YouTube. Marvin, when you get yourself together, tell us about next week's show and the guests who are coming.
All right, so next week's show.
Man, one other thing. I'm sorry, Marvin. I don't know if you go to chapter 7, go to Griff. If you think I'm lying, do it. Get the book and go to chapter 7. I think the name of that chapter is called That's chapter 7 right there. That's it. No words. As soon as you get to chapter 7, this is what you're gonna hear. That's it right there. I don't know. But if you go to Marvin Constant's book right now and open up to chapter 7, I guarantee, as soon as you turn the page, and you're gonna feel it. You're gonna be like, damn, Marvin. So you're gonna feel it in your glutes. You're gonna feel it in your glutes.
Can't wait.
And just
hang around Joe Jackson, Steve.
if Steve gets 500 subscribers by this weekend, he's gonna get Tyler Perry for next week's show.
There it is. There it is.
But next week's guest, it's a position that I feel like we have to spotlight because it's the strength of this year's team as it's been a strength for the past few years. We're gonna have some phenomenal former Alabama wide receivers to come on and talk about this crop of wide receivers and what makes them so special. Next week is going to be a wide receiver special.
Did you find Michael Vaughn?
You know what? That's a good question. Where is Michael Vaughn? You know, he's like, where's Waldo? I hadn't seen Mike since he came out early in '98. That's the last time I seen Mike.
He was with the Packers for like a day. And then after that, I don't know what happened.
Well, you know, Mike lived across the hall from me in the house. And we all, when Mike said he was going to come out, you know, because we would all hang out. So he would always talk about it in passing, like, yeah, I think I'm coming. It was like, Mike, you might need one more year, you know, because you hadn't had that kind of year. So when he finally did come out and say he was leaving, we was like, whoa. And then it didn't go so well for him. And, you know, I kind of felt bad for him because, you know, we had been telling him all those times when we hanging out, like, Mike, you need one more year. But
in all seriousness, I mean, he was a phenomenal talent. And I think his first year there, he really showed out. And then after that, he just kind of went on a decline and he just kind of
he had that elbow injury. That elbow injury slowed him down a little bit. Then he recovered from that. But he could have used one more year.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see. All right, real quick, guys. Closing remarks. Tell us what's next for each of you. How we can contact you on social media, all that good stuff.
Well, it's quiet, so we pretty much letting you know we don't have jobs. It's COVID.
Griff, I think you're the only former Alabama legend who survived this call. Everybody else has disappeared. So tell us what's next for you. Get some closing remarks, and then how we can reach you on social media.
Well, that just shows you the level of dedication that I've got versus some of these other cats y'all had on here tonight.
Well, I think that's because you started out with Gene Stallings, man. I think that was a good.
I just want to say thank you guys for having me. And Marvin and I go back 20-something years, and There's not many people I respect as much as Marvin Constant, as I do Marvin Constant. And great guy, and great to see y'all's success, and wish you success on the show. Yeah, and I can't wait for Chapter 7. Order right now. Actually, I've been looking for it on Amazon as we speak. I was waiting on the free copy from Marvin, but I never got it. So,
hey man, text me your address, Griff, and I'll shoot you one.
I'll be happy to buy a copy, and I'm going to read it like I read the Power, or like I watched the Power 90 series on DVD. Never did anything, but you can find me at PaperMill75 on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook. And Roll Tide, and I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Hey, Griff, one other thing I just want you to know that Marvin is going to tell everybody he knows you, your wife, your kids, and everybody. I just want you to know that he's going to tell everybody he know you.
Well, I wanted to point out one thing, and that Clemson Notre Dame pick. You know, I know all those same guys that he mentioned, and I didn't.
Oh my God!
Man, I know every one of them. Didn't bring a single one.
But Griff, I noticed you weren't bragging though. You just were kind of sitting back, being humble. So who was the biggest trash talk on your team before you go? Was it Marvin? You can say it's Marvin.
Marvin Constant was the guy.
No, Kenny Smith, hands down.
He was on here last week. He didn't seem that way at all, Griff.
No, I didn't. He seemed very nice.
Seemed like a church-going boy.
Yeah, Kenny Smith. He was on last week, and one thing that stood out about him, he didn't know anybody. He didn't know anybody. Not like Marvin. He didn't know anybody.
Griff, Kenny talk way more trash than me. Him and that Reggie Miles.
Oh gosh, yes, Reggie.
Well, Reggie played way on back there in the back. I'd have to deal with him. Listen to Marvin Constant. So agree to disagree.
All right, Steve, what's next for you? How can people reach you online? All that good stuff.
Hey man, again, we're doing the Yeah We Talk About This show, the podcast that came out yesterday. Got really good numbers, and of course, I will be in Orlando and Tampa, Florida next week. Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi, and Auburn, believe it or not, at those comedy clubs. Right. So I'm looking forward to it. Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, and make sure you follow me on Cash App. Follow me on there. Yes.
Do I have to do that before I see you in Jackson? Because that's right next door to me.
We'll make it happen, man. We'll hang out, man.
Are you going to tell people you know me like Marvin knows everybody?
Of course. I'm gonna tell you. Of course.
Hey man, I'm just telling you how I make my predictions and my picks based off the people I know.
Awesome. All right, guys. If anyone has any questions for us and any of our guests and Steve as well, he'll be glad to talk to you more about Marvin's book in full detail. Reach us at the Raleigh and Constant Show, the Raleigh and Constant Show at gmail.com. Visit us on the sportscast.net. And on Twitter at the Sportscast1, same on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at Justin Riley7, at Justin Riley _7 on Instagram. Griff, since you're the remaining person here, we really appreciate you coming on. It was a real pleasure. I enjoyed watching you when I was a student there, man. You're definitely one of the best offensive linemen I've seen. Man of great character, and it was really great to spend time with you and spend time with the other guys. So really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you again, Griff. Oh man, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
All right.
Now we just got to get Steve the right picture for his background, and then we'll be all right.
All right, guys. Hey, we'll talk soon. Love y'all. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.